What is going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Bro Science Bullshit. I'm your man, the people's coach, Adam, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about energy levels. Um, so, one thing that I hear quite often from people, whether it be like they're asking me or they're just kind of talking about it, in a group of damn people, is energy levels and how they lack energy. They don't have enough energy. And while there's a lot of reasons why somebody may lack energy, right? It could be so many reasons. It could be central nervous system. It could be thyroid. It could be just not eating enough food. There's a lot of reasons. But today I kind of want to talk about something that I see quite a few people doing that, regardless of what they have going on, can contribute. And this isn't for everybody, but it can contribute to having less energy throughout the day, feeling less cognizant, just less ability to concentrate, all those good things. And that's in the food we eat. Now, not so much like eating enough protein, carbs, and fats. Yes, we know that'll do it. We also know that eating enough of certain kinds of foods can do it. But specifically today, I wanted to talk about the role of carbohydrates, starches, and sugar specifically. So, not all carbohydrates. And we'll talk about how fruits also impact this, but how starches and sugars can impact energy levels throughout the day for packing them in. So I've talked before, and I've put out there on many social media platforms talking about circadian rhythm, right? So let's kind of start there. So our circadian rhythm is going to be basically a timestamp, daytime and night, or I should say morning time and nighttime, when we have certain hormones come up to make us feel awake, and then at nighttime certain hormones to then come up to make us feel tired so we can recover, right? So and if we're going to bed at the within the same half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, every night, things of that nature, then typically, so like let's say somebody gets up every morning at 6 for work and goes to bed every night between whatever 9:30, 10:30, doesn't matter, just around that same half hour time. This person is going to have a pretty set and regulated circadian rhythm, meaning that when they wake up at 6 a.m., but sometime between probably 6 and 7:30, those daytime hormones are up. They're, getting close to peaking. This person should feel very mentally alert and ready to go for the day. And then probably sometime around like 5, 6 p.m., those go down. Nighttime hormones come up and they start getting ready to get tired and go to sleep and recover for the day. So that's our circadian rhythm. Now, our circadian rhythm includes a hormone called cortisol. And we've heard this talked about before as like a stress hormone, which it can be a stress hormone, but it's not bad stress. Let's try to, instead of saying stress, because stress has such a bad connotation, let's think of it as like it is our alert hormone. It is the one that lets us know like we need to be alert for the day, things are going on around us, and all that good stuff. So not so much stress. So when we wake up in the morning, this cortisol hormone should start coming up, right? And that's going to make us feel alert throughout the day, and it'll peak sometime like mid morning, late morning, and then kind of hold us over till late afternoon and all that good stuff. So that among a couple other hormones are what keep us going and alert throughout the day. Now, the problem is that somewhere down the line, cortisol and these daytime hormones are getting blunted. They're getting turned down so that we suddenly don't have this mental acuity, this clarity, this sharpness, focus, alertness, however we want to talk about it. And we just want to curl up under our desk and like fucking fall asleep, which I totally get. I felt that. So, how can we combat this? Well, the addition of sugars and starches throughout the day can contribute to feeling tired. I know a lot of us have heard that before, but I kind of want to talk about how that happens and try to make it pretty simplistic so you guys understand it. So, I want you guys to think about cortisol as like your party friend. This is the friend that's upbeat. They're always ready to go. They're like, they're the person at the party that's like, yeah, and they're just talking to everybody. They're the social fucking butterfly, right? That's who cortisol is. Now, we have this other hormone called insulin. I know you guys have heard of that. We usually hear about it when we talk about like diabetes or insulin resistance, things of that nature. So insulin is going to be produced once there is a presence of carbohydrates in the system. So sugars, starches, Fruits will impact insulin levels, but not to the extent or severity that like sugar will, or even some starches will. So fruits, and they're also full of fiber, which sort of offset it. It doesn't offset it, but it makes it better, along with the fact that it's got all kinds of nutrients, vitamins, minerals in it. So fruit can also blunt insulin a little bit, but it's definitely not near as much. So I'm not really putting fruit too much in this conversation. So then sometime throughout the day, you woke up. I shouldn't say sometime throughout the day you woke up. You woke up in the morning, and your cortisol levels are hopefully going up. And then a lot of times what I see are people reaching for sugary monsters, Red Bull, just sugary energy drinks, right? Because we want the sugar to give us energy because we feel so tired, right? Maybe we didn't get a good night's sleep because of circadian rhythm. That's a whole other subject. But we reach for that. We reach for a sugary coffee. We reach for a sugary or just a carbohydrate dense food or starch dense food. And when we ingest that, and that's in the presence of our body and our bloodstream, then insulin, this other hormone, starts to be secreted. Now, the problem is let's think of insulin as like the party pooper. This is the friend that's like, God, I really don't want to be here. Like, or they just come in and they like zap the fucking life from the party. You know what I mean? Like just their sheer presence walking through the door just like shuts the whole vibe of the party down. That's insulin. So now you've eaten carbs or I should say starches or sugars. Insulin levels have come up. They've dramatically spiked up. And now that vibe, that shitty vibe that your shitty friend brings on has now come over the party and come over your cortisol friend. And now that lively, alert party we once had is very bleh, drab and not so fun. And that's what's happening in the body. So we wake up and hopefully we have this nice cortisol response. And in return, we reach for sugars, starches, something of that nature, which then blunts or increases, starts to secrete insulin. And depending on the kind, the more sugary, the more starchful it is, the less fiber it has in it, the more of an impact it's going to have there, and the more it's going to bring down that party. So then we bring down that party sometime. That could be anywhere from 9 a.m. that happens for you. It could be 2 in the afternoon that it happens for you. Maybe for some people it's at lunch, right? You don't eat it all throughout the day. Suddenly you eat at lunch, and then bam, you get that 1-2 o'clock slump, and it's from that insulin release. So how can we combat this? Well, encompassing our day with more protein, more fiber, and even some fruits and fats are going to be one of the best ways to not have that insulin response, not bring the party down, and keep that party fucking hype for hours and hours and hours. So some people use a tool of intermittent fasting throughout the day. That can be used. Some people just kind of watch the macros they're taking in, right? The protein, carbs, and fats. They stack the day with more fats and protein at the beginning, and then have the carbohydrates, and not a lot of carbohydrates, just a one sitting, maybe somewhere between 30, 60, 80 grams of carbs in that sitting, depending on, your personal metabolism. And then that's it for the day. And they have an instant response at dinner time or around dinner time, kind of brings them down and helps them go into that nighttime sleepy phase. Now, keep in mind, the reason why I said like 40, 60, maybe 80, and it depends on your metabolism, is because if we hammer off too many damn carbs at night, we can then mess up our sleep. So we don't need a lot of them right then. We just need some carbohydrates. Not carbohydrates, I'm sorry. Starches, sugars, things of that nature. We do need carbs. We need veggies throughout the day. We need fruits. We need things of that nature. And we can utilize those to keep insulin levels down. And then at nighttime, we can add in more starches, your pastas, your breads, your things of that nature. And that kind of seems very different, right? Like adding carbs at night, you're going to get fat and that's going to add body fat. Not necessarily. It doesn't work like that. Now, if you're more insulin resistant, or maybe even diabetic, then the kind of carbs, the amount of carbs is really going to depend on those times, even at those times of the day. But regardless, this can help out with those energy levels. So guys, I hope this helps out. If you have comments, leave those jams down in the comment. I want to know. I want to answer your questions. Other than that, I hope you all have an amazing day.